Hey everyone, welcome back. We are going to spend today talking about indie games that we're excited about that we've been playing. This is going to be our second indie game spotlight. I'm big into indie games, and I love like shining that light, giving those creators who put their heart and soul into, whatever game they created a little bit of recognition. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm Rick.
I'm John.
Nathan.
And we're 8-Bit Hindsight. Let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to go first. There's a indie game that came out. Actually, it came out quite a bit ago, but like they've been really updating it well. And like they come out with new stuff for it all the time, and I'm always drawn back to this game because like I just like the comedy that they put into it. I like the style of the game. And the game that I've chosen for this spotlight is Graveyard Keeper. So it's almost like a mocking kind of, like in the same way that like Stardew Valley kind of mocks the farming simulator. It does too, but it does it a little bit differently. And like there's so many things that you can do in this game, but it all has like this kind of tongue-in-cheek, like joking about it. Like it has a sense of humor about itself, and I love that. Plus, it's come out with like 4 DLCs. But yeah, this is just a game that I really love. So to take you guys through it, you start out as like this kind of... I think the game actually calls you a hipster.
That's awesome.
Cool.
No, like you have like the beard and like the undercut and everything. Like with like the over stylized mustache. Like, and I think it actually calls you a hipster. If I remember correctly, you get into like a car accident and you wake up in this like it's not really clear if it's like in the past or if it's just a different world, but you wake up in like this cabin and this like talking skull is there, and he like explains to you that you're the new graveyard keeper. And every person in this game like has something they need your help with, and the game constantly like comments on that. It's like every time someone gives you a new mission, you're like, can you people not do anything by yourselves? Like, which is obviously the trope that's in like a lot of games. Is everywhere you go, someone needs your help.
Wait, so you're a graveyard keeper?
So you're some dude from the modern era, and you get sent back, and the first thing you can do is you have to learn how to like, you have to like build up a graveyard and like keep bodies, and you have to like, do the autopsy right and like remove bad organs, and that improves the quality of the body. And then when you plant that body in the ground, like you bury it, it raises like the I guess level or like points of your graveyard, so it makes it nicer, I guess is the way of saying it. And then
dude, that sounds awesome.
Oh yeah, dude. And then like, so there's also like different things you can do, right? So you have to like cut stone to create like better headstones and gravestones and stuff. And then after, I think it's like the first week, some dude shows up, and he's like in a bishop's outfit or something, or like a pope's outfit. And he's like, hey man, since you're the graveyard keeper, you mind being the priest too? And you're just like, what? So you end up with a congregation, and you're building your church up and making it nicer by like adding new things. So you have to learn how to work metal and stuff. And the whole time you've got this like talking skull who like bounces around and follows you sometimes, but he usually just hangs out in the embalming area. And like, he's like, hey, if you want to feed yourself and make a little extra cash, you should start up a little farm. And you're like, okay, so now I'm starting a farm. Another dude is like, hey, why don't you start making beer and wine in your vineyard? And you're like, I'm doing a vineyard now?
So it's kind of like Animal Crossing almost, that kind of thing.
Kind of, but with the weird twist of you can't do all these things by yourself. You can, but you don't have enough energy, right? So it's that Stardew Valley, you only have limited energy kind of thing. So the game's solution is if you find a particularly fresh body that you do a really good job removing all the bad organs from, you can resurrect it as a zombie to help you out.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, so you're like, you either choose to burn the corpse, you choose to bury the corpse, which you want a nice one if you're going to bury it because it's higher score. or you can turn it into a zombie. And the higher the score of the corpse, the better the zombie is at doing whatever. So I have like zombies over there cutting stone for me, mining metal for me. I've got one running a vineyard. He's making some wine. I got another dude running a wheat farm so I can make some beer. Meanwhile, I'm also doing quests for all these different people, and I'm running a church, and I'm also trying to like solve the mystery of how do I build something that can get me back to my own time. And there's a donkey that's like a communist. He brings all the bodies to you, and he demands like carrots. He's like writing a manifesto and shit. Dude, it's a wild game.
Dude, this sounds awesome. I need to play this.
Dude,
yeah,
it
definitely sounds really good.
Dude, it's not expensive. It's like $20. Yeah, it's $20, and then they have like $10 for the DLCs. And there's like 4 of them. So they're all puns, right? There's Game of Crow, obviously Game of Thrones. There's Better Save Soul, which is off Better Call Saul. I forget what the Breaking Bad one is, but it's like it's a pun off of that. And then there's one other, and I forget what it is. But dude, it's like there's puns throughout the game. It has like a very tongue-in-cheek humor about everything it asks you to do. And there's a lot of content to it. Like you could go down just the story beats and like probably be done with it pretty quickly. But like I actively do not do the story parts because I like doing the other parts and like just doing like I've opened my own bar. There's like a ghost hunting adventure portion of it. Like, dude, there's just so much stuff in this game to do, and it's super fun. So I definitely think for $20, it's worth the buy. It's worth the invested time. And then they're pretty regularly updating DLC. So there's probably going to be more stuff coming out in the future to keep you interested. So that's my indie game spotlight. It's called Graveyard Keeper. And there's tons of stuff to do.
Dude, I think I'm going to check that game out. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, that sounds super good.
Is it really dark and edgy?
It has like dark elements that could be edgy, but when it gets to that point, it usually like makes fun of itself.
There's some levity there.
Oh, there's lots of levity. Like I forget there's this one where you have to like get a hold of a certain quality of beer, a low quality beer. And then you get a hold of some sand, and you have to trick this skull into getting the key off of it by like giving it a bath with these two things. And like the dialogue is just like your character after a while is just so fucking over everything. He's like, "Oh my God, some new person. What do you need help with?" Like he's almost like supposed to be the person who's like played so many of these games that he knows the formula, and he's just like, whatever, dude. So there's a lot of like funny like jokes and stuff in it, like the communist donkey.
Yeah, that is pretty funny.
No,
Yeah,
there's literally I forget what DLC it is, but there's a DLC where you're playing through, and the donkey comes by and he's like, "Hey, I need you to write me up a manifesto and put it in this box so I can present it to the Donkey Union or whatever." And then he does, and you find out that like when he did that, everyone got really excited and they destroyed their own area. So they had to spend a lot of time rebuilding it. And then he's like, "Okay, this time I need you to give me some faith," which is something you can get the better your sermons are as you go through, the more faith you get, which you can use to resurrect zombies and research other things. But he's like, "Oh yeah, everyone got really up on the faith and all that," and then they started fighting with each other about it or something. Like there's just all this stuff that's really weird. It's like some kind of like there's some social commentary. There's also like, but it's all funny. It's all meant to be like poking fun at everything. So I definitely like that game, Graveyard Keeper. Check it out. It's $20. Like, and it's like tons of time you can sink into it. So. Okay.
I'm definitely checking that out.
Yeah. Dude, I think you would like it. You
yeah, it sounds like my kind of game.
Yeah, you would find it hilarious because it's very tongue-in-cheek. Okay.
Yeah,
So-
that definitely sounds like a great game, but I am much more excited to tell y'all about my spotlight.
Oh, okay. I thought I was the host here, but whatever. No, I'm just fucking with you. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. The game I'll be talking about is called Valheim. They It's
course.
by Coffee Stain. It's survival. It's procedurally generated, so you can play it over a number of times, and it's always different.
I think this game. I think I played this game a long time ago.
It's only
It's new, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty February 2021.
Oh, never mind. I have not played this game.
It's like a Viking game, dude. I think you'll like it, Ricky.
Yeah, I definitely think you would like it. But yeah, it's procedurally generated, so every time you start a new game, you get a different group of friends that you want to play with, because you can play with up to 10 people, or alone even if you want to do that.
Okay, survival game.
Yes, it's a survival game. It's not like other survival games to where you have to eat or you die. Like the food gives you like a buff to where you'll have more stamina or health. Like you can have like 3 different types of food, and they all give you different amounts of stamina and health.
Okay.
And of course, there's stamina-based combat, which would go along with the food, and a lot of different crafting. Like it seems like you have to stay at a tier of crafting. So you start out at like copper weapons and copper armor and stuff like that, and then you beat the boss, and so you move on to the next tier. You're able to go into the next area, get better stuff, and then.
Dude, that sounds awesome.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Dude, so is it like it doesn't matter if you gain a lot of experience in the thing, you have to beat that boss to unlock that next tier?
Right, and that's the part I like. You can't jump into the next area, get all the best stuff, and then go and just whoop the previous boss's butt real quick. Like it is, each boss fight is an epic boss fight every time.
Dude,
that sounds cool.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, there's really good. It has a really good building system. If you make like a chimney, you have to seal it off from the rest of your house, or you're going to get really smoked out and die inside of your own house. Like it's really intuitive, and if you don't have supports for everything, then it'll fall. I really like the building system, and I always love like that. That's another thing I like to do. I like having better buildings than the rest of the team has. So I'm like,
You're just an asshole over there that's like, hey, look how better my house is than yours.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like everybody has to have their own house, and it kind of makes you have like a village.
Huh.
So
how many players is it?
Up to 10.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's really cool. And the only thing I wish it would be different is the boats. They're like pre-generated boats, so like they're just long ships, and then there's another upgraded version of that where it's just a bigger long ship. Being on the boats is really, really cool. There's these serpents that come out of the water that you have to fight all the time. There, at one point, there is a world serpent type thing that you fight in the water. For real, every single boss fight is just so good. I remember when we fought the second boss, it took us forever. That was like a 2-hour-long fight, and the bosses can alter the terrain. So when we found where it spawns, it was on an island. By the time we finished that fight, the island was gone. Like we had to swim over to the mainland. Wait,
they can destroy the land?
Yeah, and you can too. Like you can get a shovel and you can like flatten everything, or you can add dirt.
You're just over there like, I'm gonna dig your island away. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like angrily shoveling dirt into your boat.
Yeah, it was just a really fun game that I enjoyed to play, and they just came out with new DLC for it. It's always free DLC. They added there was a couple of zones in the game that was empty, and they actually looked really cool. Huge trees, they're like super spidery, and you were wondering like what's supposed to be here. But eventually you found out that it was just an area that they hadn't filled in yet. But that area is finally filled. They have a bunch of additional things you can build. And I think there's 2 new bosses. So I definitely very soon need to get back into it and play that new DLC.
Yeah, I mean, I like Coffee Stain. They usually make some pretty decent stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, so a lot of survival games.
Yeah, this game looks pretty cool. Holy shit.
A lot of survival games, I think, have like a lot of jank in it. What's Valheim like in that front?
It's pretty smooth. The only the art style issue I have with it is it is very cartoony. And so that's probably my biggest issue with it. But it's a really fun game. The combat is fairly smooth. Depending on like what kind of weapon you have. Like I usually like using the daggers. You have to get in a little close and do a little three-part attack, and it makes them bleed. But you can also like do a dodge to where it stops your attack and you can jump out of the way.
What about is there like a story to it, or is it just like a free roam?
Well, you're brought into the world to impress Odin. You have to get his patronage because basically you died. You brought into this world on a raven, and you're supposed to get Odin's favor to move on.
Interesting.
Dude, I think I'm gonna get this game. It sounds super awesome.
Dude, I am gonna get this game. I'm looking at it right now. It looks good, and right now it's like $13. So
yeah, it's on sale. Normally it's 20, and right now it's 14.
Oh, dude, we could all play it together.
Yeah, definitely. What, dude? This sounds like a huge game, and it's only $20.
Yeah.
Dude, see, this is what I'm talking about. Indie game, $20. Indie game. That's what I expect.
Yeah.
Love it.
Damn.
Okay, so what else is like? How many? Let me ask you this: how many hours have you sunk into this game?
How many hours have I sunk in? Let me. I have sunk in 48.
Okay.
Oh,
so it's a decently long game then.
Yeah.
Have you beaten it?
No.
Oof.
I have not beaten it, but I mean,
the way you laugh makes me think you're not even close.
Well, technically, I haven't played the new DLC, but technically, there wasn't a beating it when I was playing it.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't think most survival games do, right?
No.
Some do. Some have like a criteria you can accomplish. That's like the end of the game. Like, what is it? The game we're playing, The Forest. If you,
yeah, that has an end.
Yeah.
Yeah, the arc has an end, but I rarely beat that game also. The Forest, I never beat that one, but I played it quite a bit.
Yeah, The Forest is fun.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I just bought that game.
We just bought Valheim?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to buy it then, too.
Yeah, we'll all play together.
Yeah.
Dude, when you were talking about that game, man, I kept confusing that game with a different one that's very closely spelled the same way, but it's like an MMO, like crafting, building, village kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like more like an arc kind of building a village, right. And then you like hire people and guards and stuff from the NPCs within the game. There's very few NPCs,
right?
But that one came out back in like 2017. So
talking about that Valnier Rock.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that was pretty fun too.
Yeah, that's the one I thought you were talking about with this one because the names are so similar. But no, this one actually sounds super fun.
Yeah.
Dude, I have so many
game
points.
is made for you, Rick.
Yeah. All the games must be made for me. All right. So then how about you, Nathan? What's your spotlight?
Okay, so mine isn't as like big in scope like John's. But for me, the one I picked is Hotline Miami. It came out in 2012, and I think like this game really put indie games on the map. You know, I think it created more interest in indie games when it came out. Because, 10 years ago or so, I don't think indie games were as popular as they are now.
Dude, that's crazy how old this game is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Hotline Miami, I really like this game. And I'm sure a lot of people do too, but it's a top-down shooter. I guess it could be considered a brawler too, but it has really good music. It's also really gory, which I like. And essentially it's like top-down, and you have to go through a building usually and kill everyone in the building. But if you get shot or hit at, you die instantly. Oh, wow. So it's like a game where you have to kind of speed run through and kill people, and just the way you strategize is really fun. It's very arcadey, and when you die, it immediately starts. Yeah, it's really gory. But when you die, you immediately start over again, so there's no load screen or anything. So it's really just fun and just addictive to play. They also came out with the sequel too. It's not as good as one, but I still like it.
Dude, is this the game that made Devolver like a
famous? Yeah.
Oh, holy shit, dude. That's awesome. That actually looks like it's only like $10.
Dude, I recommend it. I've played it multiple times. It's really good.
I'm not usually big into like the top-down shooters, but this one just looks so much fun.
Yeah, dude. Ever since I played this, I've been wanting to play another game like this, and I think they came out with something called like Hong Kong Massacre or something like that looked like this, but it didn't look like it played like it. So I've been bothered.
A second version of this one?
Yeah, they have Hotline Miami too, but it's not as good because the enemies can be off screen and they can still shoot and kill you, which that's annoying. Yeah. But the first one doesn't do that.
Okay. Huh. Yeah, dude, that one looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. The music's good, the style's cool. The story makes no sense at all, but it's still kind of cool in its own way.
Dude, sometimes that's fun though, you know? Like but that has to be done well. You know, otherwise it's just like, all right, you just didn't have a story.
Right. But this is one of those games where even though the story's really crazy, it still works. It's just the whole game is just so trippy and weird.
Dude, yeah, it looks really colorful too.
Yeah, and you can unlock masks. Like you can have like pig mask and elephant mask, stuff like that. And they all do different things. Like there's different abilities attached to masks. So it makes playing it through again a lot of fun.
That's wild. Okay. Dude, that's a cool little game. And like how old that is, that really seems like one of the progenitors of like the indie game franchises or the series or the genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's so cool looking. That looks like that, dude. That reminds me of that old style arcadey shit, but like dialed up to 11.
Yeah, exactly. It's really fast paced. It's really fun and addictive.
Yeah, it looks. I mean, to me, I would compare it to like a really old Payday game, and I really enjoy the Payday games.
I only know the recent ones where it's like looks like a multiplayer game.
Yeah, it is multiplayer game, and there's actually a Payday 3 coming out.
Next year.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, dude. Okay, I think all three of these games for this one have been like fun, kind of ridiculous little ones. Maybe John's wasn't as ridiculous, but I definitely think yours and mine were, Nate. So, yeah, dude, I'm just watching the fucking screenshots and stuff of this game. It's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, but okay. Anything anyone wants to say before we head out about these games? They all are very affordable. Like they're all $20 or $10.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna buy Valheim.
Dude,
right
you
after
should.
this.
We all play.
Yeah.
But you should also check out Graveyard Keeper when you get the chance, because that's also a big game and it's super fun.
Put that in my wish list.
And like you can kind of play it however you want. Like you can go through the whole thing if you want to, or you can just like enjoy building up your church and having all your followers. Oh, one more thing. You also like you can harvest the meat from those dead bodies, slice it up and sell it to like the innkeeper, and he sells it as food.
That's like the forest shit where you get to eat people.
Dude, yeah. Dude, there's a lot of like weird stuff. And he even makes a joke in the game about like he's like, dude, I run a graveyard. I sell human flesh as meat. Like, I am not the person you guys should be like getting everything, risking everything being put on. You know, like why are you guys asking me to help you? You know,
right?
But all right, so I think that's gonna go ahead and close it for the day. Why don't you guys say goodbye? Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Later.